Happy Monday, everybody. You guys ready? Sports imports. My name, for those who are watching for the first time, we are live. Join us. Rich Mbariket, based in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States of America. I am an entrepreneur. I run a platform called Mbariket.com. We are a US Nigeria trade platform. That's where we are currently. Our goal in the foreseeable near future is to expand into more of a global Africa trade platform. So what we do is we connect entrepreneurs, service providers, both in the diaspora as well as Nigeria, and we connect them over business ideals. I woke up this morning to, again, I did not even know that there was a limit on WhatsApp group. So I woke up this morning to discover that we had reached capacity on our WhatsApp group. Um, and that ceiling is 1,025 members. So we've reached that. So we can no longer accept new members into the group on unless like current members leave or are removed for violating the rules of the platform. So right now we have people that are queued up right now looking to enter the group, and as space becomes available, um, they will be able to join automatically as space becomes available. So yes, we are at capacity. It is not my doing. This is a WhatsApp limits. We're at capacity and we can no longer accept new members into the Mbariket WhatsApp group. So thank you all for watching. 10 people are watching right now. Thank you. 10 people are watching right now. Listen, I'm going to ask some questions. I want to start with three questions. Why do you want to become an exporter? Post that answer in the comment section. Why do you want to become an exporter? That's question number one. Question number two, are you currently exporting? If so, where are you what are you exporting? Where are you exporting from for those who are not in Nigeria? And where are you exporting to? So that's question number two. Question number one is, why do you want to become an exporter? Question number two, what are you currently exporting? Where and where from and where to? Question number three, for those, and this is for those who are interested in becoming exporters. So your question to you is, what is it that you want to export? And where is your dream market? Like where on earth, like where in the globe would you like to export to? So that is the third question. So you guys can go ahead and post that in the comment section and be sure to like, share, and comment. Withhold your main questions though for the later part of this. And I'll open it up, let's say 30 minutes into this session, I'll open it up for you guys to ask questions and I'll answer your questions. So um, it's very possible for you to find success in Nigeria as an exporter. It's very possible. But what I'm going to cover are some of the main issues that you should also keep in mind and statistics. That is one of the major challenges for micro established exporters. Logistics continues to become the major issue right now. So you're going to reach a crossroads. And this is something that I want you to keep in mind, because you are going to have to roll in your cost of doing business into the price that you share with your customers. Logistics is a major, major issue right now. And you only have literally one serious player right now. And I'm talking about that can guarantee that your goods will leave Nigeria abroad. There's only one major player right now, and that is DHL. In order for you to get set up with DHL, there are two ways you can go about it. You're going to need a DHL Nigeria account. For those who are local there, even if you are even if you're an importer, you're based abroad. So for us, we have two accounts. We have a DHL US account and a DHL Nigeria account. Two totally different accounts and two totally different pricing. You can't use your DHL US account or DHL abroad account to import Nigerian goods to where you are domiciled. You're going to have to establish a local DHL account there in Nigeria. And you're going to need what? You're going to need your NEPC license. You're going to need your CAC business certification documentation. You're going to need all of that in order for you to open your account in Nigeria. So we started using DHL. At least DHL was actually our first partner logistics company that we started using back in 2020, 2021. And it got too expensive for us at the time. And we decided to start exploring with cargo. That's how we ended up getting into shipping through Delta Cargo. The issue there with Delta Cargo is you are not really dealing with subject matter experts. You are not dealing with professional logistics agents. And you are not dealing with a professional, a company with the infrastructure that's built around logistics. So with that, you tend to get a lower price per kg. Currently, it's 4,500 naira per kg to go with companies like Delta Cargo, which for those who are based in the US, that is your prime, because there's no other choice. The other choice is Virgin. United doesn't fly cargo. So you have DHL that's really built around logistics. That is all they do. International logistics is what DHL does. So they are on the higher side, in some cases, 3 times more. So if you are paying let's just a round number, 5,000 naira per kg to ship through Delta, you are going to pay 15,000 naira per kg to ship through DHL. But guess what? With DHL, it's less headache. We are at a point in our business now, fast forward 4 years later, where we are in a position to absorb that cost. And that is why we are going back to DHL. Because over the past year, Delta Cargo, or just cargo shipping altogether, has declined in Nigeria. Good evening, JBN. How are you? Cargo shipping has declined and it's just getting worse, worse, and worse for exporters. So, for those who are just starting out, if you can control it, just start with DHL and continue with DHL. That's the mistake that we made. Was had we continued with just DHL shipping volume through DHL, the rate the rate would be comparable to what the independent cargo lines like Delta Cargo is. But we ended up switching at the time. It was expensive for us. And then when I look back now, hindsight is always 2020. I wish we would have stuck with DHL all along and not made that switch. Once you solve the international, put it this way, the international logistics infrastructure or system is 50% of your success. 50% of your success. So you have DHL cargo. I'm just using them as an example on the lower, cheaper side. Right now, it's 4,500 naira per kg. They will fly from Lagos to Atlanta and then from Atlanta to wherever you are. We are in Las Vegas on the western part of the United States. So that is DHL's route because their headquarters is, no, sorry, not DHL, Delta Cargo, because their headquarters is in Atlanta. Or you go with Virgin Atlantic, which from the last time I got a rate from them, it was 5,800 package. So for us, you look at Delta Cargo, which is 4.5, and then you look at Virgin Atlantic, that's 5.8 package. As a micro exporter, if you are not doing at least 75 kg per shipment, you are not really, really in business. So do the math there. That's a little over 250,000 naira. So 75 kg is like at 4,500. That is what 350 something thousand naira. That does not even include when your goods get, and that is just for the shipment. It doesn't include customs clearance at the destination country. It does not include customs clearance. So you still have to pay customs clearing fee at the destination country, which can range anywhere from $150 to $250. And then the bonded warehouse that's holding the goods, you still have to pay them at least $150. So in addition to that rate that you paid in Nigeria, you have to expect to pay at least an additional $350 to $400 on the US side just to clear your goods. So when you add it up, you are only saving a little bit. Then why not just go through DHL, where you know you are dealing with guaranteed logistics company, guaranteed logistics professionals. They will handle customs for you. Again, I'm not cheerleading for DHL. Okay, I don't work for DHL. I don't get anything from. I'm just saying they are the best option for you, for exporters right now looking at exporting goods out of Nigeria. Don't even waste your time with the Delta and Virgin, because those ones they are primarily passenger commercial flights. And guess what? The passenger luggage has more priority than business cargo. So they will allocate maybe 25% of the space for cargo. That is why you have a lot of backlogs right now. In Nigeria right now, you have an average of 6 weeks, sometimes 2 months, just to be able to get your goods out of Nigeria abroad through Delta Cargo and companies like, let's say, Virgin. Because their infrastructure and their system is not based around business logistics. It's based around transporting passengers in and out of Nigeria, and then they'll just allocate. Because if you think about it, even though it says Delta Cargo, your cargo is technically in a commercial airline, Delta Airlines. That's where your goods are. So you are always going to face delays, all because you are trying to save 100K or 200K. As a business, you can't succeed under those circumstances. And that is why we, the Mbariket company, we are going back to to DHL. Because we know that we are going to receive our goods in 7 days max, sometimes 5 days. It's happened before. So you have to gauge what works for your business overall and then make your decision. Yes, you are paying more on the front end, you are paying more. Thank you, JBM. That's what it's about. It's about peace of mind. You sleep well at night. I have had sleepless nights for the past 4 years dealing with local logistics agents in Nigeria. I'm going through one right now where you are always chasing them. Where is my shipment? What's going on? Where's my shipment? What's happening? They don't know how to update. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to keep you informed of it. You see, when you are doing business at a high level, international global trade, the last thing that you want is stress. You want your entire energy to be focused on growing your business. Now, I'm not saying all of the local agents are bad. I'm not saying that they're bad, but I'm just saying that you are going to have to pull teeth and pull hair just to get, depending on the standards that you've created for yourself. Depending on the standards that you've created for yourself. Because what I always teach you guys is speed is important. No business can survive when it takes 6 weeks to 2 months to get your goods. No business can survive in those circumstances. And we are just, unfortunately, DHL has the monopoly right now. Unfortunately, they have the monopoly. So you have to pay 3x, 2x more than the others for your peace of mind. And ensuring professionalism. Professionalism. You are dealing with licensed, bonded professionals in the logistics space when you are dealing with DHL. When you are going with companies like Cargo, Delta Cargo, and this and that, you start dealing with locals that don't understand the way. You see, DHL is a business logistics company. They understand the importance of getting business goods from one end to another part of the world as fast and as efficiently as possible. You see, they are built around that infrastructure. That's them. That is the backbone of their business. They know the urgency. They know that a business doesn't make money when their goods is sitting in a logistics hub somewhere. A business makes money when goods are sold and shipped to customers. DHL knows this. The local agents in Nigeria, they don't understand urgency. And a passenger airline that makes room to carry business cargo doesn't understand the urgency of business. Because their number one customer is moving their passenger. You see, their passenger luggage has more priority than your own cargo. Passenger luggage has more because they are the ones that are paying $2,000 to fly from, let's say, Lagos. They are the ones. Your cargo is just a fraction of the cost. Quick delivery, DHL, because that is what they are built. They are a global business logistics. I'm telling you, strategize around DHL if you want to be successful as an exporter. Build your prices and your logistics around DHL. Yes, you are going to be paying a lot more, but you are going to receive your goods in a timely manner. You see, by the time that it takes Delta to send you your goods, you have already sold and turned over your inventory and repeated the process once or twice before Delta's wheels are up in the air with DHL. Part of why I'm sharing this with you guys, well, I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. It's not always all the time that I'll come here and share success stories. I want you to learn from my mistakes. Logistics is 50% of your problems and 50% of your success. You see, prior to me, us pivoting to Nigeria, US Nigeria, we did business from US China for 17 years. The Chinese, they understand the importance of business. They understand the importance of logistics. I have never ever in the 17 years that I did business in China had a shipment delay. When the Chinese tell you you are receiving your goods within 7 days, you receive your goods within 7 days. Chinese don't have stories to tell. There's no storytelling in China because that is commerce is what underpins the Chinese economy. Commerce. So that is why they have that robust logistics infrastructure that Nigeria lacks today. So with China, there was a time that I did sea shipment, 3 weeks. Literally 21 days. Try sea shipment from Nigeria to the US. 6 months, some cases. It happened to me when I used to export honey. It took these guys 8 months to deliver my honey from Nigeria. 8. What business can survive in those circumstances? That is why Nigeria continues to fall behind in exports, in global exports and in global trade. The logistics infrastructure and the logistics system is just not there. Now, I know I'm starting with the challenges here. Now we've talked about logistics. Now we are going to talk about buyers. And I know a lot of you, put it this way, as a Nigerian exporter, Nigerian seller, put yourself in the shoes of your buyers abroad. Let's just do that 1 second. Let's flip the scenario upside down and put yourself in the shoes of the buyer. One of the biggest reasons why Nigerians, sellers, and exporters don't have international buyers is due to lack of buyer protection. Lack of buyer protection is the major number. I'll probably say 99% of why you guys are not getting business. Write that down. I said it. The buyer doesn't have, you see, there's no buyer confidence when it comes to doing business in Nigeria. So you put yourself in the shoes of the buyer for a second. If you are always afraid of getting taken for a ride, if you're always afraid of not receiving what you ordered, if you are always afraid of, if I pay for something and the person doesn't deliver, how am I going to get my money back? Tell me if you are going to convert a customer in that with that kind of scenario. Absolutely no to zero buyer protection. That is why you are not getting, it's not because you are not honest, it's not because you don't have quality goods, it's as a result of just lack of buyer confidence. You see, I have my American Express Business Gold. Then I have my American Express Platinum. This one are big boy cards now. This is a platinum luxury card. This is a business, Mbariket business group. Look at you on that. You see? Mbariket LLC, American Express Business. Buyer confidence. I can do business anywhere in the world with these two cards. Do you know why? Because if you are a seller and I don't get what I ordered, I just file a chargeback with American Express. You see, the United States system. You guys are leaving? Okay. Hey, send the girls here. Give me a second. Let me attend to my family. I love you. Have fun with mommy, okay? Yes. Have fun with mommy. Jeanette.
Mama said hi, bye.
Have fun with mommy. Have fun with mommy. How long are you guys gonna be?
We're gonna go probably like an hour or two.
Yeah.
All right.
See you. Drive safe. Yep. They are stepping out for a second. Buyer JBM says you are right, sir. We call it consumer protection here. The United States, and I know that I always compare US Nigeria because that is our platform. We are US Nigeria trade, but I'm sure this applies globally. The United States system prioritizes the buyer over the seller. That is why the system works. Any business here that you go to, they have a warranty. Before it used to be 30-day warranty. Now is 90-day warranty. You can return that item that you purchased if you are not happy. If that person delivers an item that is not what you order, you can return it and get your full refund. Where is Nigeria's warranty? What is Nigeria doing to protect the international buyer? That is why we don't have business. That is why you're not able to get a buyer, is because the confidence is not there. And our forefathers have ruined it. Nigeria does not offer. Let me tell you, you're right, Michael. I'll give you a short story, then I'll get back into this. I was in Nigeria 2 years ago. I went and bought, because you know me, I stay in the village when I go home. So I said, okay, let me just go to the city and buy fleets. You know, these mobile fleets. So I went, I patronized the store owner, I bought a couple of cans. And then when I got home back to my mansion in the village, and I wanted to fleet my bedroom before I slept, do you know that a single drop of nothing came out of that can? Both of them. I shook it, tried to spray. Nothing came out of that can. So I had to sleep like that. I said, now, you see, now me, I'm not smart now. Now I take my own fleet, hot shots to Nigeria when I try. Why? I do have to go to that extent? Because I've learned the lesson. So the following day, I went back to Uyo, to the store owner, with the 2 cans of fleece. And I said, madam, this fleece I bought yesterday, it didn't work. You can test it, you try and spray it, nothing comes out. I'm going to need you to refund my money or give me a fleet that works. Because here in the US, you have a choice. You either get your full refund or you get an exchange. I was open to getting an exchange. Just exchange it, give me something. She told me no. She told me to go and take up the problem with Mobile because it was a mobile fleet, mobile cans. This woman told me to go and take up my issue with the company that created the product, that she's just a reseller, even though she's the one that sold me the product. Since then, this was 3 years ago. Since then, anytime I go to Nigeria, I go and buy hot shots, mosquito repellents for $4 or $5, knowing I have peace of mind. When I get there, it's going to work. You see, buyers, we just want results. We don't want stories. So when the customer confidence or the buyer confidence is lacking, they can't spend with you. It doesn't matter how nice you are, how great your product is. Once that confidence is not there, once the buyer protection is not there, they can't do business with you. So the way it works for those who are looking for buyers abroad, the way it works is, let's say you have something to sell, and you and the buyer, okay, willing seller, willing buyer, you agree on a price, you lock the agreement, and let's just say, for the sake of simplicity, the transaction is ₦1,000,000. Yes, rightfully so. The buyer must pay a deposit of 30%. It's just global business. It's the way they do business globally. The buyer pays a deposit of 30%. So 30% of ₦1,000,000 is 300,000 naira. The buyer is not responsible for the other 70% until you have completed his order. So it is not the buyer's job to give you working capital. It's not. And that's the thing about Nigerians is they feel that once somebody agrees to buy something from you, the buyer now has to fund the project. That is not how it works. On a global, international level, it may work locally for you if you are local there, but on an international level, for those of you exporters looking for international buyers, the working capital has to come from your own pocket. All the buyer is obligated to do is a good faith 30% down payment. So you as a seller, you have to go and raise however much is going to cost you to produce my order. And if you are lucky, depending on the relationship that you have with the buyer, you can negotiate a tiered payment structure to where, okay, and this comes later, on the later end, once you've built a relationship, you can negotiate that. Okay, let's do a 30, 40, 30 structure, where the buyer gives you 30% upfront. Once you reach a certain benchmark, the buyer releases another 40%. And then once the goods, because usually this is how it works, that 70% should be enough for you to produce that product. So you got to know your numbers. You got to know your manufacturing capacity as a seller. But don't you dare expect the buyer to give you working capital to fund orders. It is not their responsibility. So that buyer protection, you see, you have logistical issues, and then you just have an issue of the buyer is not protected in any way. You see me, it's like they say, open the nyash of a fowl. The buyer's nyash is wide open because they are not protected in any way when they are doing business with Nigerians. Payments by milestone arrangement is the same thing. Tiered, structured payments based on meeting certain benchmarks. So it's usually 30% upfront. This is how it works. 30% upfront. That 30% that you just received should at least be enough for you to get that production to at least 50% of completion. So then that way you can now send proof, video proof or photo proof of where you are. You are taking the buyer. Let's say somebody wants to buy 1,000 cases of something from you. Okay. They give you 30% upfront. and then you are able to produce, let's say 500. Remember, they want 1,000 now. But if you're able to produce 500 of this and you show them, you negotiate and say, okay, we'll take the 30% payment up front. And then once 500 pieces is manufactured, we'll count with you, we'll do a video with you, we'll show you. Then they say that's your benchmark. Then yes, the buyer can legally release another 40% payment to you. So now you have 70%. Now that 70% payment that extra 40% should be able to carry you through the 1,000 cases. And then once you are able to show that you have 1,000 cases, then the buyer can release the remaining 30% to you. That's how it works. But some of you are thinking that is the buyer, and it's happened to me before. You agree on an order, and then the person will ask you to pay upfront. Are you crazy? Even if we've had a working relationship, I'm not paying upfront for squat. I will give you the 30% upfront, and once you've shown that you've met a certain benchmark, I will give you the other 40%. Or what we do is we just fund the raw materials and we just pay labor. That's what we do now. What is it going to take you to give me 1,000 of these leather cases? Okay, sir, we are going to need XYZ amount of leather. We are going to need XYZ amount of wood. We are going to need XYZ amount of thread. I will fund those raw materials and just pay you your labor. And even at that labor, it's still a 30, that labor is still a 30, 40, 30 payment structure. Even with, you see me, I do business in Nigeria. If I wasn't in Nigeria, I won't touch Nigeria. That is the sentiment. Because, and that is why Nigeria continues to struggle with the imbalance of US Naira dollar, is because of the lack of confidence in the Nigerian system. If you know what I've gone through in 5 years, it's just because I'm too neck deep. That's why I'm still in this race. And it's just because I'm the patriot. I believe in Nigeria so much. That's why I'm still in this race. Otherwise, I would just do business with you, collect my money, go rest. You got to fix that logistics. You see, for us, after 5 years, we've just recently fixed the interstate logistics. Because before, you see, now we fly our cargo from Uyo to Lagos. We fly our cargo via air. Before, we used to do bus. You will take your cargo to the bus park. That was before. You will see that what they do to your cargo at the bus park, they will step on it, they will trample on it. There's no respect for personal property. People are sitting on top of your cargo. I just said, you know what? We've grown as a business to a point now where we don't have to do that anymore. Now we fly our cargo internally in Nigeria. Because I don't want to hear stories. When we were doing the car park bus routes, 4 days, a bus will leave Akwa Ibom and hasn't reached Lagos in 4 days. They will break down in Benin, they will break down in Aba, they will break down in Delta. They are always breaking down. So you can imagine your goods. We've had a situation where we had fish. By the time the fish reached Lagos, rats have eaten 50% of it. because of the delays, the poor warehousing conditions, where these warehouses are not protected against rodents. Rats. I had to refund the customer. That was a loss for me. And since then, I had to refund him because it's not, he said the customer doesn't want to hear stories. They were depending on me to transport their fish safely from point A to point B. By the time the fish left Akwa Ibom and reached Lagos, rats had consumed 50%. My team in Lagos said, this is what happened. We had to discard the whole fish. And I ended up having to pay the customer, refund the customer in full. So these are the challenges. Another thing too, as far as buyers, do you know why? Let me tell you how American companies gain buyers. They attend trade shows. So for those who don't know, a trade show is a centralized event where buyers and sellers come together to do business. So the organizers allocate certain spaces for the exhibitors, the sellers, to come and display their goods. So they charge the sellers for exhibition booths. But then in some cases, depending on what the trade show for, obviously 90% of the trade show is generally free to buyers. That is how buyers in America gain customers. How many of you local sellers there, exporters there, have ever attended a trade show in Lagos? You want a buyer, but it's a process to get a buyer. Buyer confidence is one. Number two, you also have to put yourself in an environment where buyers are. You got to go where the buyers are. And even Las Vegas, this is the trade, for those of you abroad who know now, Las Vegas is the trade show capital of America. There's always a trade show happening here in Vegas. Always a trade show. I've never seen a Nigerian. I've never seen a Nigerian business at a trade show in the 13 years that I've lived in Las Vegas. Before then, I lived in LA for 12, Los Angeles for 12 years. How many Nigerians are attending trade shows to exhibit their products and services? So a company organizes a trade show. You create a centralized environment where buyers and sellers can come together and transact business in millions of dollars. Now, some may argue, okay, well, we have online platforms like Gigi. There's online like Gigi. There's Facebook. There's social media. There's just another one in Nigeria. I don't know the name. But you are still facing this. Yes, it's a centralized platform, but you still face the issue of buyer protection. The inefficiencies. You see, guys, I'm not trying to scare you as an exporter or as a business person. The reason why we are doing this is because how many people right now are coaching on exports at this level? So this is a niche that we want to start filling. We used to do the webinars. Now we are cutting down on that because I feel like, man, this hour that I'm spending with these people, they don't really grasp. So that is why we are moving away from the webinars into more of a mentorship. But we are going to be rolling out value content like this, let's say Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, for you to come in. If you want to learn about business and export, subscribe to the Mbariket YouTube channel. Right now, you guys can't join our WhatsApp group because we are capacity. We are full. We're full. But you can come and learn. And then for those who are looking at more of a hands-on one-on-one mentorship. We have a mentorship group, American mentorship group for that. Message me on the rates. I'll tell you the fee is affordable. We want to educate you so you can make informed decisions about your business. If you are experienced, established, or you are just looking at getting into the exportation of foods and products, you gotta first of all solve your logistics problem first. And the best way you can do that is just do DHL. Not even waste time with cargo. Just go DHL. Find a way to infuse that DHL price into your price to your customers. But if you want lack of headache, a night where you can sleep, we are going back to DHL. We are talking to DHL right now to return back to DHL because I can't do Niger cargo anymore. I no fit. We can't be a $100 million business, which is our goal, when it's taking us 8 weeks to move goods from Nigeria to the United States. So those trade shows, and with us now, we've integrated paid. There's no more free ads. You guys know this already on Mbariket Group. We want to use that revenues to put together these local trade shows in Nigeria, the revenue, where we can create a platform where buyers and sellers can come together and just do honest business. We are going to always continue. You as a business person, you got multiple challenges, but the two major challenges you have is number one, logistics, and number two, lack of buyer protection. Because once I've paid for something, what is stopping you from disappearing? Do you think people in America have the time to be chasing you? They will just write you off, and then they'll get on the internet and write that they've been scammed, which further sets Nigeria back 10 years. US to China, US, Europe, 100% buyer protection. You look at these platforms like Alibaba, where people go and source. Alibaba is buyer first. They will tell you, if you don't get what you ordered, you will get your full refund. You see, the seller doesn't even have any control about that. It's the platform that gives you that assurance. It's called trade assurance. They will assure the buyer that unless the buyer gets 100% of what they paid for, they are eligible for a full refund. And for you people who are there collecting money from buyers and not delivering and rendering the services that they paid you for, you are part of the problem. Money comes after services rendered. Good quality services rendered. Money follows services rendered. Money doesn't follow nice. Money doesn't follow God. Money follows quality services rendered. If you render good quality services, I will invite you back. And honor your agreement. Quality. Someone in the WhatsApp group said that, I laughed. I commented when she said, with us, you actually get what you ordered. Do you know how many times that I've ordered something from Nigeria and it wasn't what I ordered and what I received were not the same? So before you guys, and this, let me tell you, One of the number one questions that I get in my trainings is, I'm looking for a buyer. How can I get a buyer? How can I get a buyer? I've just given you why you can't. It's not because you are not a nice person or you're not a great business operator. It's just because you have all of these challenges in front of you. And I'm telling you how to solve them. Where you solve the logistics issue, just go with the number one logistics provider in Nigeria right now. That is DHL. That's how you solve that one. How do you solve the lack of buyer protection? That one is even difficult because that one is out of your hands, really. You just have to have a good reputation. I think that's the way you solve it. You just have to have a good reputation. And you have to understand the payment tier system. And you have to take your customers along on the journey. You see, for you to be successful, it requires these strategic steps. And you got to be able to adapt. Because Nigeria has a reputation problem. Are we making gains? Of course, we're making gains. We're making gains as a country. You see, we've talked a bit about the challenges. Now let's talk about the opportunities. The greatest thing that Nigeria has going for it right now when it comes to exports is that there's high demand for our goods. From Nigerians in the diaspora, from Americans looking at exploring African culture, African cuisine, African product. The only thing that's saving Nigeria right now is that there's just high demand for our product. The challenge is, how do you get that product out of Nigeria into the world? And some of you are not, that's on an international stage. And some of you are not even positioned on the local level. How do you get somebody's product? If, let's say, for instance, I ordered fish from you, how are you going to get my fish from point A to point B within Nigeria without rats eating it? And let's just say, for instance, rodents get to my product. Are you in a position to refund my money? Are you? Because if you are not able to refund my money, if I don't get the services that I paid for and you're not able to refund my money, you are dead to me. I will never, ever work with you again. And I will ensure that others don't. Because I don't want to hear stories. Buyers don't want, it is not the buyer's responsibility to hear stories from you. I paid for something, deliver to me what I paid for, end of story. How you go about doing that is none of my business. Because I am not the operator. I'm not the one selling something. I'm the buyer. So if I buy matches from you, deliver the matches where I buy. So you got to consider these factors. Are you in a position when things go left to refund your client's money without stories? Because if you are not, you better make sure that your operation is airtight. You better make sure that your operation is airtight. That is the thing. There's demand. There's also AGOA, this trade agreement that I've been preaching. I feel like I'm the guy with the bullhorn in the desert saying AGOA, 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 AGOA. 90% of Nigerians don't even know what that is. It's a duty-free agreement between the United States of America and eligible African countries where they don't pay duty. You see, some of you think capital is your problem. You think, oh, if I just have capital, capital. What use is it? What use is capital to you when you can't get the goods out of Nigeria, number one, and when when buyers are afraid to buy from you, number two? What use of what use is capital is to you? So your problem is not capital. Your problem is breaking down these barriers that have been emanating over the past 64 years. Lack of logistics infrastructure, lack of buyer protection, and the ability of you as a business person being able to refund your customers when you are not able to meet, when you are not able to render the services that they paid you for, irrespective of your loss. Banks now in Nigeria is 34%. How many Nigerians, even big companies, can survive with a 30-something% interest rate on loans? Nigerian banks are not even, you are not even ready. So, what are some of the tips? You have to run a lean operation. You have to run a lean operation. Most of you are doing too much. Today, you want to be an exporter. Tomorrow, you want to be a pastor. The next day, you are an accountant. The next day, you are an electrician. The next day, you are a real estate agent. You don't have a singular value proposition because you are spread out. You are diversifying or trying to diversify when you don't even have a core business. You see, people always look at Dangote and say, nice, Dangote is oil. Dangote is doing this, Dangote food. But Dangote's core business is still cement at the end of the day. That's his core business. What is your core business? Before you begin to diversify to this and that, you have to first of all create a solid core business or core services first before you diversify. So focus on one thing. Focus on one product. Focus on one logistics stage. I'm telling you, once we are back to, I don't care, I will pay the price with DHL because I know fit to do Nigeria Delta cargo anymore. I know fit do these cargo companies anymore. I know fit. So you gotta stay focused. And you have to start setting high standards for yourself and for your services. You don't have to operate at the wavelength of your competition. If your competition is here, go here. So let me open it up. It's 1 hour now. Guys, any questions whatsoever that you have, post those questions. I'll open it up for Q&A. It's tough to meander through the logistics business in Nigeria. Too much inefficiencies. You're right about that. And the worst part is there's no warranty. There's no guarantee. How does that help with buyer confidence? It's happened to me multiple times in Nigeria where I go, I don't get what I ordered. I try to return. And me, I'm a very liberal person. I understand what Nigerian entrepreneurs are going through. I'm not that, I mean, I have standards, but if I buy matches, if I purchase a box of matches from you, I expect to be able to strike a match and light my matchstick. If you sell me matches and I go to strike the match and it doesn't light, that's fraud. You sold me a product that warrants a refund or an exchange. And I expect to get that. But what amazes me is the way they've been able to locate you and make sure you collect your parcel. And I think they operate with insurance that pays for your goods if anything happens. Yes, DHL provides that assurance. DHL does provide that assurance, and they will handle customs for you and they'll deliver to your door. So in the long run, you are better off integrating DHL into your export business right away, as opposed to you trying to save a penny here or penny there or cover here or cover there, going with these other guys. Q&A, any questions, post them in the comment section. Like, share, and comment. That's it. We're having a real talk conversation here. Because no one is going to give it to you live and direct and raw like this. DHL do logistics interstate Nigeria, of course now. That's also, you are also going to pay 3x. You're also going to pay more than, let's say, a normal courier service. They do offer interstate logistics. But some of these local couriers are not bad. Okay, so if me, I'm moving products, let's say within Lagos, you don't need DHL for that. You can just use a local courier service. I think the maximum that they carry is like 20 kg. Because of the weight, they use bikes. So if it's under 20 kg, you can use a local courier service. You pay them maybe 5K or 6K or what have you to move within your state. But if you are moving, let's say, you're moving goods from, let's say, Lagos to Akwa Ibom State, you better use airline. That is my recommendation. That is what we've started using as of last shipment. And what was surprising to me was that it was actually affordable. And the person received the goods within 2 hours, because the flight from Uyo, Akwa Ibom to Lagos is only about an hour. The goods were there waiting for me. I don't think DHL offers interstate air cargo though. I think they are more international. But for air cargo, if you are moving between multiple states, you need to use local air cargo. There are companies that provide that service. But the thing is, they don't really advertise them because 99% of Nigerian entrepreneurs can't afford it. But you become that 1% that can, because it's going to save you a lot of time and it's going to save you a lot of headache. So locally within your state, use courier. But if you're going to move outside of the state, use air cargo. Give them the information of the recipients. They'll contact them once. They'll stay in touch with each other, and then once the goods arrive, they'll call each other and just make sure that you have somebody on the receiving side that can go and pick up the goods. 2 more questions. And while I'm waiting for the questions, if you are interested in the mentorship that we are running, DM me or message me. I'm telling you, it's affordable, it's long-term, it's a monthly mentorship program where you are also a part of other paying members in that mentorship program, where iron sharpens iron, you learn from each other. And then once every 2 weeks, we get together on a private video chat like this, and we all talk about what we're doing. I will hold you guys accountable. This is for serious people who want to go somewhere, let's say in the next 6 months. So We hold you accountable. Remember, it's a month-to-month mentorship program. I think that's more valuable to you guys than the paid webinars we were doing. You want that accountability that I always talk about, that mentorship that I always talk about. Because it's not everything that I'm going to disclose in this public forum. And I'm also able to, you see, the thing about the mentorship is I don't do it for you. I guide you, I give you advice, and I push you to do certain things that I try to push you outside of your comfort zone so you can get the results that you need. But I'm not going to do the work for you. So you guys can DM me. For those of you who can't join us, because our WhatsApp group is full, you can't join our WhatsApp group. 702-201-8311. You can DM me on WhatsApp. And then and I don't know how Facebook or WhatsApp does it, or maybe they allow you guys to be in a queue as people drop off, as we kick people out, new people just automatically join. All right, so it's 66 minutes now. I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. I actually got a mentorship call I got to make after this. But all the best, guys. Thank you guys for watching this. Thank you for the support. Tune in. We're going to do this Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. These coaching sessions. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So on Wednesday, I'm going to drop another topic. Friday, I'm going to drop another topic. And we are just going to continue to create value-added content for the Mbariket community of entrepreneurs. Because we really want you guys to be successful. See, your success is my success. All right. Let's do this. I'm going to give you another minute. If you don't have any questions for another minute, I will go ahead and sign off. But I'm watching the feed right now for questions. Post your questions, like, share, comment. Visit Mbariket.com. Actually, while I'm waiting for you guys to ask your questions, I'm going to plug our website, Mbariket.com. If you are in the United States watching this and you're looking to buy authentic Nigerian products from your favorite food staples like crayfish and gari to your wedding beads for your cultural events and wedding events, Mbariket.com/shop. That's where you find that. And for those who are looking for mentorship, you can DM me or comment and I'll get back to you. Okay? So what have we learned today? We've learned the challenges of logistics. We've learned the challenges of buyer protection and how you can solve that issue. We've given you guys some success tips. We've given you guys some case studies and some real life scenarios. Play this video back. Play this video back to learn more. All right. I'm going to sign off now, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Tune in Wednesdays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're going to be dropping some content for you guys. And we're going to blow you guys away. So when I'm ready to leave, more people join. It always happens. So let's stop at 70 minutes. It's 68 minutes and 47 seconds right now. So I'm just going to leave this running for 2 minutes. And then I'll shut it off if I don't get any questions from you guys. Counting down. All right. It looks like no further questions. Thank you, guys. I wish you best in your entrepreneurship endeavors, in your export journey, and continue to support each other. And we really appreciate you guys supporting us. Okay. All the best, guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye.